This forgotten album is the key to Travis Scott's production. Pretty much all of his music uses its techniques, and today we're gonna uncover the secrets behind it. However, it dropped in 2013, and most people didn't know who Travis Scott was, so information about it is scarce. Fortunately, I've uncovered the techniques from Pharaoh that Travis uses to this day, starting with one that goes against everything we assume about his sound. When I think of Travis, the first thing that comes to mind is his dark, intoxicating beats. And we all know there's one way to do that, by making minor scale melodies. But what if I told you you can make a Travis Scott beat in the major scale? The song you heard, Hell of a Night, uses this sample. On the way to your brother's house. And that sample is in major. So to start something similar, I found a vocal and chopped it just like Travis did. That sounds sick, but it's all for nothing if you don't get this next step right. Most producers are scared to use the major scale because it's always seen as too happy. Use these two principles with your chords and you can create a feeling similar to Hell of a Night. First, the major scale still has minor chords. Using them in your progression will give you a much less happy vibe. And second, the one I used for our beat is the age-old trick of using chords that contain notes a semitone apart, creating tension. Now, aside from the melodies, Pharaoh also showcases some of Travis's most unique drums, including the technique which will give you a new way to improve your bounces. Hell of a Night has these acoustic drums that have such a tight groove, something you can also hear on the intro to Utopia. So first, you need a drum loop with acoustic sounds. The only problem is making your own acoustic drum loop can often sound unrealistic. To solve that problem, I used LANDR sampler and imported a drum kit. It maps random one-shots from that folder across the keyboard so you can play it like it's a real drum kit. It's amazing for sparking creativity. Once you have your drums, the real magic comes in. Travis uses the MPC to chop up a drum loop and play it back with a different, tighter bounce. I used LANDR sampler again, this time using the slice mode to give me chops on the transients. A lot of the stuff I've been using, like LANDR sampler and LANDR samples, is part of LANDR Studio. As you can see, there's a huge variety of things on there. And if you pay for the yearly subscription, you get access to all these third-party plugins. It's perfect for any producer looking for a huge variety of things for a very small cost. If you want to check it out, hit the link in the description, and thank you to LANDR for sponsoring this video. Next, we have something that Wonder Girl brought to Travis that they're always using to create crazy melodies. Uptown contains an Indian sample. Take a listen and tell me what the difference is between that and the final song. It's one thing, and that's melody manipulation. First, you need a melody, but don't just click in some chords and call it a day. This entire technique relies on two things. One, you need to make something with lots of different notes at different velocities. The more notes you have, the more choice you have later on with where you want to take it. And two, old Indian samples were actually recorded pretty badly, but that's what gives them that gritty texture. To emulate it, I found a crowd noise from a different Indian sample and compressed them both together. Now we have our melody, let's manipulate it. The section of the Uptown sample that Wonder Girl sampled didn't actually last very long, but she repurposed the parts she liked to complete the loop. I flipped ours by time stretching it and giving it a typical Wonder Girl style bounce. Then to take it even further, I added in some extra sitar phrases from LANDR sample's huge collection of sounds and repurposed them in LANDR sampler. All that we had left to do was add in some classic Wonder Girl style drums. For our third beat, I'm going to show you the forgotten sound that Travis doesn't use anymore and what any producer can learn from it. I don't know about you. Feel like I'm floating through the night. This sound is anthemic. He's the best performer out there, and his beats are a big reason for that. Here are some ways you can take the energy of your production to the next level. First, use ascending progressions. Doing this can create the feeling of building up to something big. Then pair that with layers of synths. Use filtered ones, bright ones, and anything you want to create a vast soundscape. Now you can even hear some EDM influences in songs like 16 Chapels and Analog, a track that was released before Pharaoh.
The stars are out tonight, let them fall over you.
EDM is mainly instrumental music, but it still manages to bring so much energy to a crowd. Travis noticed that the bass is what people feel, so he thought, why not use EDM style basses in his own way? Rather than using a normal bass line, I arpeggiated it. Just listen to the difference. Finally, there's a technique that brings not only his songs, but his albums to life. It's called world building. First, we have playable texture. What you just heard was bird noises tuned and played in to fit with the melody. To recreate it, all you have to do is find a bird sound, then figure out what note it is, tune it to C, and play it like a one-shot. And second, we have a key component of Travis's sound that often goes under the radar. It's called mini switch-ups. There are countless examples of beat switches in Travis's music, but it's these mini switch-ups that grab the listener's attention and they don't even realize it. Section A has a slowed down kick and new bass, and section B has the same bass, a synth playing octaves of the bass notes, and some textures too. Now those textures I mentioned are very intentional. Take Meadow Creek for example. The noises you hear aren't just thrown in for the sake of it, they have meaning. Added in these breaths to symbolize the moment before taking a game-winning shot. It's all about visualizing and creating with intent.